What you're about to hear about Erika Kirk is something no one else is talking about. And by the end of this, you'll know everything. And you're going to look at this story much, much differently. Because when we put everything together, the timeline tells its own stories. Think about it, from pageants to power to a timeline that raises very, very serious questions. We answer those questions in this final episode of our three-part series, Erika. Seriously? Part 3. Welcome to the Joe Rossano Show. Okay, folks, going year by year, one timeline, one story, and we're looking for one thing. What matches and what doesn't? Now, before we run down the timeline of all things Erika, if you like this kind of content, please click that subscribe button. Please comment, like, and share with your friends for all latest episodes. And if you missed part 1 or part 2, click the notification bell, and that will give you all the episodes of the Joe Rossano Show. So let's start right here, 2007. Okay? She's playing basketball at Regis University. But when you look at the record, she only played 8 games. 8 games. And yet, she claims she played for 2 years. 8 games, 2 years, doesn't line up. Now, if you think that's weird, 2008 really gets weird. This is a time that is just unclear because during this period, she seems to go missing. There's a gap. Now, according to her, she locked herself away somewhere between 6 to 8 months. Now, keep that in mind, 6 to 8 months. Well, let's ask Erika. Roll it.
Like with Miss Arizona, I was so done with that world. It was very toxic. I loved my director. I loved the experience I had, but afterwards, it was one of those things where I was so sold out and focused on Christ that I didn't want anything from that past or that world to follow with me into the new season that I was about to enter into. And so for me, it was all about I literally had locked myself in my room and read my Bible. And the only person I saw for 6 months was my pastor's wife.
There it is, folks. 6 months. You heard her. 6 months. Well, we have a different interview now that we're going to run. And she seems to say something different. Roll it.
I prayed for God to just strip my ego from all of that stuff, all of that world, all of the plastic hat crown stuff with the banner. That was just, it was me from the standpoint of a philanthropic side, but the hometown hero thing was just weird and it was unhealthy and it was just ego fueling. So I locked myself in my room, basically turned into a hermit for about a good 8 months.
Oh, you heard it, folks. 8 months, 6 months, 8 months. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, here we are. 6 months, 8 months. It's her story. And it's not lining up. That's a 25% difference in the time. 25% of her own story. Okay. Now, 2009, she competes for Miss Colorado. She finishes 4th runner-up. At the same time, she creates everyday heroes like you. Reportedly, that entity made less than $50,000 a year, but there's no visible tax filings. And she's at Loyola Marymount University in California competing for Miss Colorado. So the question becomes, how's all this happening at the exact same time? Well, we're going to move to 2010, okay? She competes for Miss Arizona. She's 1st runner-up. And then she begins dating Tyler Sanford, a minor league baseball player. Now, they appear together in the music video. You may have seen this by Emerson Drive. She's my kind of crazy. She's my kind of crazy. 2011, folks. Now she's at Arizona State University. She competes again, and this time she wins. Miss Arizona. So she begins serving as Miss Arizona in 2012. She's gaining visibility in her philanthropy, and she launches Romanian Angels under Everyday Heroes Like You. Remember that one, okay? Because it's the same pattern. Visibility increases, but financial activity stays limited. It's limited. Now, 2013, everything starts to shift. This is what we call her nomadic phase. Okay, so she begins dating Josh Harrelson. Okay, and she travels with him. He's a basketball player. Puerto Rico, China, Michigan. And while in Michigan, she meets a minor named Jillian and begins a tweeting, texting relationship. I'm going to let you folks decide that one. Okay. So 2014, unfortunately, her relationship with Josh Harrelson ends. Now, not so fast. March 1st, she goes on her first date with JT Massey. In 2015, she becomes engaged to JT Massey. Now she's between Arizona and California. Then, I don't want to shock anyone, the engagement ends. And with that, her nomadic phase comes to an end. Now she's in New York in 2016. She continues her philanthropy, modeling faith-based initiatives. She launches Bible in 365. Okay, now 2017, she starts dating Cabot Phillips. That relationship lasted until right around November 2017. Okay, but I want you to check out this clip. Okay, her interview with Barry Weiss. Oh, you're going to love this. Roll it.
Say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
Well, folks, you saw the same video I did. You heard the same words I heard. But we just walked through a multitude of relationships, including an engagement. All right. So, I mean, same timeline here, different story. 2018, she is still in New York. Now, all kinds of stuff's happening for Erika. She begins filming Summer House for Bravo, launches Proclaim Streetwear. In September, her first date with Charlie Kirk. Now, in October, she obtains a real estate license in New York. Okay. But no recorded sales anywhere. The pattern remains the same. Nonprofits, clothing line, real estate agent, still under $50,000 a year. And some say that her real estate license was an arrangement for personal use. Again, little to no activity. 2020, December, she gets engaged to Charlie. Congratulations. Move to 2021. Okay. In May, they're married. Okay. This is where I got to pause because before she marries Charlie, she was reportedly worth $2 million. $2 million. So the question becomes, Erika, where'd you get that money? Where'd the money come from? And then what comes after? Charlie is assassinated. Through Give, Send, Go, she raises over $5 million. His life insurance reportedly worth $10 million. That's $15 million. And now she is the CEO, Turning Point USA. That's the timeline. So let's review. A claim of playing 2 years of basketball. She only played 8 games. She locks herself away for 6 or 8 months. Based on her own words, she's not even sure which. Okay. She competes for Miss Colorado while she's living in California. She shoots her shot at Miss Arizona, finishes first runner-up. Not too shabby. She competes again and wins. Okay. Then she meets some fellas and begins some nomadic phase, following boyfriends, in this case, all over the world. Even gets engaged. And then she claims she didn't date for 5 years before she met Charlie. Now, we're talking Arizona, China, Michigan, New York, where she gets a real estate license. No recorded sales. At this point, she's been on reality TV, modeling, started several businesses. None made over $50,000. And in 2021, she marries Charlie, and she's worth $2 million. Before she says, I do. I regret to say, in 2025, Charlie is assassinated. Erika receives upwards of $5 million through Give, Send, Go and $10 million from Charlie's life insurance. Then she becomes the CEO of Turning Point USA. It's just the facts lined up, folks. That's all it is. And I will let you decide. Once again, appreciate you tuning in to Joe Rossano's show. We'll see you later for your questions and comments. Thank you. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content, please kindly hit the subscribe button, like, share, comment, click the notification bell for all latest episodes of The Joe Rossano Show.